Peace everyone, Unmasked here, and welcome to day 24 of Inktober. We've got 1 week left, and that is it. So after today, there's only 7 more prompts to do. We are getting through it, and I'm going to start sharing the drawings that you did for yesterday's prompt, which was muddy. I saw a number of adorable pigs. Love the little zombie there as well. Super cute. Pigs seem to be a favorite for yesterday's prompt. What did I draw? Oh, I drew a muddy boot, kind of like a sketchy ink drawing. It was a lot of fun. Anyways, thank you for submitting those awesome Inktober pieces. They were a pleasure to look at, and hopefully you guys had fun making them. Today I am going to be doing what I said I was going to do yesterday, which is a little bit of a surprise because I don't think that's happened very often. A couple times, maybe. I'm doing a cutting board with a chopped onion. I thought it was appropriate, and I don't know what really compelled me to do it, but it felt like something fun to do. I'm going to be using markers again, and I might even sneak in a little bit of colored pencils, possibly. Just don't tell anybody. But I might sneak in a little bit of colored pencils to finish off the texture and the colors and stuff. Because you can only take it so far with markers, really, with my collection, some of them drying out. So I thought I'd sneak in some colored pencils as well. Real quick, I do want to mention that I did finally put the link for the coloring competition in the video description. So if you've heard me mention the coloring competition in previous live streams, the link is there now. It will take you straight over to the line art download and the list of rules, and you can get started on it. There's only a week left for that as well. I know it's going to be kind of tough to sneak in a coloring competition while doing Inktober, but it's there if you want to join. I still have less than 10 entries, meaning your chances of winning are super, super high. The other thing that I wanted to mention is yesterday we talked about doing like one big collaboration where for Inktober, where we all draw kind of like the same exact theme and just see where everybody takes it. And I think I decided that we are going to do it for prompt number 26. So this will be, today's Wednesday. Thursday is prickly, Friday is stretch. So for Friday's prompt is stretch. We're all going to draw yoga poses. So that's what I'm going to draw, and that's what I hope everybody else participates in drawing. And we're just going to see how many different yoga poses we can come up with for the Inktober prompt. At least that gives you the idea to draw with, a couple days in advance. So hopefully you can get to it. I am going to get to my drawing now. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. You know me, I love questions and I never get enough of them. So I'm going to start coloring in my cutting board here. And I'm going to turn my paper. I don't know how well you guys can see this just yet, but I have the wood grain going horizontal, so I'm going to make all of my marker strokes horizontal as well. I also forgot to say hello to everybody in the chat. Hello, Paulo, Brenda, Helen, Talia, Sneaks, Wendy, Stacy, Debbie, A Brush with Travel, Lindy, I guess that's your name, Miriam, Pumpkin Spice, Iris, who else is in here? I think I got everyone. Thank you guys for coming to the stream. Let's have some fun today. Wait, today is Wednesday. Does anybody know if Chrissy is live streaming right now? I'd feel really bad if she's still live streaming. I totally forgot. I wanted to bump my Inktober live streams on Wednesday. I guess this is kind of the last Wednesday, sort of. Next week will be the last Wednesday, but I didn't want to stream at the same time as her since, we kind of steal viewers from each other. I know a few of you can multitask and watch us both at the same time, but I didn't want to stream at the same time as her for that reason. Oh, Chrissy's already done? Awesome, awesome. Well, sort of awesome. I wish I would have known it was going on. I would have popped in. I wasn't doing anything. I was playing a little bit of chess while getting ready for the stream. Just trying to pass the last few minutes. And I've kind of been on a chess kick this week. Been playing a little bit of chess. I'm going for a wood grain here, so I'm kind of using the skinny part of the marker just to reinforce that wood grain. She was feeling a bit under the weather. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. She finished 3 things today. Oh, we should all be so proud. Maybe she probably just headed off to bed then, huh? She's probably not going to stop by the stream. She might say hello. But, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that she wasn't feeling well. Okay, I will be joining again shortly. My mom made breakfast. All right, Debbie, you go enjoy your breakfast and hurry back. We'll see you shortly. So you guys got to tell me what some of your ideas are for chopped, or actually it's just chop. I guess whether you put it in past tense or not is irrelevant, but you have to give me some of your ideas for today's prompt. Curious to know what you guys came up with. This is going to take forever to fill in. I guess perhaps drawing a cutting board. I even shortened it. Like I took the reference photo and the cutting board was a lot bigger, and I shrunk the overall drawing down in comparison, because I was thinking I don't think I need to draw the cutting board that big. I think that might be excessive, so I shortened it. You could say that I chopped the cutting board. Oh, hello, Virginia. I am doing a chop. Lamb chop. I finally got my pick on it was chop with a tree. Oh yes, Brenda, I did see your drawing there. So I'm glad you found a place for your Inktober prompts. Although today is chopped, and you should have posted that on the chop. So you did it on the day early. But that's fine, no big deal. I waited a little too long, I guess, to post today's thread for your Inktober drawings. I noticed a couple of you had mentioned that you know, it's starting to get a little bit harder. It's starting to get a little bit harder to keep up with the Inktober stuff, and I feel ya. I know it's tough, but we're gonna get through it. We only got a week left. even if your drawings aren't the greatest creation in the world that you've ever made, don't even worry. Just stay consistent, keep pushing through, and we're gonna get through it. We're almost to the end, and then you're gonna be missing the streams. And you're gonna be missing the daily streams, and I'm gonna have to hear about it over and over again, just like I did last year when I finished Inktober last year. Everybody was like, "Oh, I missed the daily streams. It was so much fun." Well, I'm going to be bumping up the number of streams, and of course, I do want to finalize like a family stream schedule, so that we can kind of always be there can always be a host artist in the family, and the family members can come together and always hang out and chat. That's even if it's not on my channel, it doesn't matter to me, as long as you guys can get together and hang out. That's what's really important. So, and honestly, sometimes I just want to relax and watch somebody else do the work, and then bother them and distract them in the chat. Yeah, a little bit of Inktober withdrawal for sure. Oh, good morning, Barbara. Oh, drawing the mom telling her kids to chop chop. That's a good one. That's a unique way of taking the prompt. That's a good idea. That's why I didn't do it last year. Didn't have time with Patreon and renovations. I can barely. Oh, this year. Yeah, I did see a few of your pictures on Facebook of the renovation. I know. I can imagine that that's a stressful event, you know, doing some renovations and getting all that work done, and yeah, it certainly can be a big undertaking. I know my friend Travis, he has been renovating his house literally since the day he moved in, which was like a decade ago, and it's coming along. I mean, it's a big house, but I think he does it mostly himself as well. But it's been a very, very long, tedious process. I'm going to be doing some purple onions here. You know me, I love purple. Got all kinds of purples over here, ready to color these onions. I'm going to ignore everything except for the cutting board for now. I want to get the cutting board really, really good. Nice and wood-like. That's my goal here. That's why I might sneak in a little bit of colored pencils, but you can't tell anybody. You are very good at distracting when you are in chat. You taking lessons from others, I know. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Oh, hello, Anna. Good to see you. What am I going to do when Inktober is over? Well, that's an excellent question. The first thing I am going to do is breathe a sigh of relief because it's over, and have myself a lovely celebration. No, in all seriousness, I'm going to maintain a pretty strict stream schedule up until I go on vacation, because I go on vacation on the 14th of November, so there will just be the first 2 weeks of streaming in November. But I'm going to bump up the streams, so I want to do, I'm going to end up doing 3 streams a week. Before it was like 2, sometimes it was only 1 a week, depending on my mood. But I'm going to be a bit more consistent now that I've grown accustomed to doing the daily streams. I think I can kind of write out a solid schedule I think that's going to be what I first do. My first task is going to be to get a nice schedule written out, and then I'll collaborate with the other family members that want to host some family streams on a schedule. It's very important. I want it to be consistent. That's the important thing. So if you've been interested in doing like being on the family stream schedule and being like a featured artist or content creator, consistency is going to be paramount to be on the list. That will be one thing for sure that I'm going to be looking for and not be lenient on. And I'll put together a list working with the other artists and get that list put out, and I'll have my schedule for everybody, and yeah, just do the drawing journals or something else, any kind of stream. Like, one of the things that I'd like to do on some of my streams is just start projects. Stream the entire project, not really for the purpose of a tutorial. I mean, obviously I'm always available for questions. I always leave myself available for questions, but just to start creating something myself, like a project that I want to do. Maybe there's just this random picture that I feel like drawing and I want to work on and kind of practice myself. So like live streaming my own personal practice pieces or something along those lines, and I'll probably do something like that. And then one stream a week will be dedicated specifically to a tutorial, and most likely a soft pastel tutorial. So I'll do some of those, and then my third stream, that will be just the Patreon only stream, because I got to do that every week. And sometimes the Patreon stream will be even doubled up, because since I'm going on vacation, I always try to make up for that lost time. So I always stream like double time over on Patreon for like the week prior and the week after I return. But one of the other things that I really want to focus on is my oil painting project, and the video that I've been working on. I still have a lot of work that I need to do with that, and I want to get it done before the end of the year. I still have a lot of painting to do. I still have a lot of video work that I need to do, and recording, obviously, because I'm not doing a time lapse. There's actually 0 time lapse footage that I intend to record for the video, and yeah, that's about all I'm going to give away about the painting, because it's kind of just a personal project that I want to work on, and I'm going to be creating a different kind of art video. Starting out with colored pencils soon, hopefully. What on earth do I buy first? So I always recommend getting the full set of Prismacolor pencils, because you have the greatest amount of flexibility with that color range, especially as a beginner. As a beginner with colored pencils, the worst thing that I think you could do is limit yourself with your color choice availability. And with the full set of Prismas, you get 150 pencils for like $100, and you really just can't do better than that, in my opinion. And that is the set that I use. Oh, I know, I think this is a color that's dried out. It's got a little bit in it. That's the set that I'm always recommending every single time somebody asks the question. And it's a set that I stand by, despite the harsh claims about the set. Just about anybody that uses them attests to their worthiness of being purchased. I want to make sure I didn't lose any other questions here. If I happen to miss your question, please just re-ask it. I have no problem with that. You can re-ask it a million times if you need to. If I keep missing it. How long am I going on vacation for? For 2 weeks. Yes, 2 weeks. Most likely, I won't really be working with acrylic paint. Now that I have oil paints, and I've kind of like, I kind of forced myself to buy them. I know that I don't have room to do oil painting in my teeny tiny little flat, mostly because I don't have room to store the paintings that I complete. That's kind of the biggest factor. That, and my desk is getting a bit crowded with supplies, and with oil paint I like to spread out. Like I would have to take up this whole room to really do oil painting, and but since I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm getting more panels, I'm buying paint, and I'm working on piece now, and it's a decent sized piece. 18 by 24 I think is, it looks 18 by 24. No, it's 24 by 30. I don't know what it is. It's rather, it's a medium sized painting. It's a good size. It's a healthy sized painting. It's probably the biggest I'll work on while I'm living here, but for as long as I'm living here, I think I can manage to do a few paintings like that size anyway. And you know, if I can do, I don't know, 4 or 5 oil paintings a year, hopefully I won't have to do them here, because next year I want to move. But yeah, probably won't do much with acrylic paint. I don't like acrylic paint, that's why. I just, in comparison to oil, I honestly, I mean, some artists, they have no problem switching from oil to acrylic, but I cannot. Once I started oil painting, I never wanted to touch acrylic paint for the rest of my life. It was every time I use acrylic, I think, man, I wish I was using oil. So I probably won't do much with acrylic paint after Inktober. Do you have a place to show your finished paintings? No, I do not. I really, like, well, I actually, no, I take that back. I kind of do. I kind of do. There is this tattoo place in my hometown called My Museum, and it's a really big deal. This place is, it's actually, no joke, the place is in my old elementary school, because my elementary school when I was in the 4th and 5th grade was this teeny tiny little building. It had 22 students for each grade, and after I went to high school, it closed. It just, the students that were going there just went to other schools, and it just sat there vacant. This nice school building, I mean, it was an older school building, but it was still nice. It was relatively nice. Was just sitting there for the longest time. Well, this tattoo artist that was getting very, very well known from my hometown, Jess, she decided to buy it. She bought the old school and she turned it into her lifelong dream, which was an art museum. And it's not the kind of museum that you typically would think of, you know, like old art pieces or anything like that. No, she has, on the first floor, she has her tattoo parlor that has like 8 stations or something like that. It's relatively big, and she rents out the stations there to all the local tattoo artists. And the rest of the school, well, one room is like dedicated to just where she sleeps, because she also lives in the building, and the rest is, every single classroom is like a different world of creation. Oh, it's a magical place for any creative person, and she is one of the most creative people I've ever met in my life. And I pretty much have free range to hang my work up there. Right now I have several of my work hanging up there thanks to my sister, because she one of the tattoo artists, Jason, that works there, he absolutely loves my Beneath the Veil painting. And since my sister moved out of her house into an RV a couple years ago, has it been a couple years? I don't know. I think it was last year, maybe. It's been a little while. Or no, was it this year? No. No, it was last year. Yeah, it was last year. All of my artwork, my older artwork that she had, because she had most of it, has just been sitting in the storage unit. And so Jason was like, why don't we hang it up in the tattoo place? And so I have several paintings and some marker portraits, the Very Color Marker Portrait series that I did a couple years ago. I have all that hanging up, and I'm sure that if I created, I guarantee the painting that I'm working on right now would probably be widely accepted to hang up in there as well, if I wanted it to, if I wanted to send it there or whatnot. But that's about it as far as like displaying my work anywhere. Other than that, it just hangs out in my drawer. That's why I give a lot of work away, or I have given a lot of work away, because either I give it away or it sits and rots in my drawer. I don't try to actively sell it or anything like that. All right, I think that's going to be my cutting board. I love that painting too. She lives in it. Oh, yeah. I'm glad you like that painting. And yes, my sister lives in an RV. She and her husband had they lived in this nice kind of ranch house before for several years, and they just got tired of it. They got tired of fixing things with the house. They had just replaced the roof, and they just wanted to get out of it. They've been talking about like moving to Vermont for like the longest time. And before, my wife's husband was an electrician for Belden Brick, and my sister worked for this, I don't even know what the company is, but she travels around constantly. She is always in a different state. She works there for a few weeks, and then she goes to a different state, works there for a few weeks. And so she was never home, and it kind of drove them both nuts because they never got to see each other. And so my sister's husband quit. They both work for the same company now. They travel together. They live in an RV, and they just go from state to state every couple weeks, do their job, and then they move on. And they sold their house. They sold their house and bought an RV, and that's what they did, and that's what they do. It was pretty crazy, but it was really, really, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Oh, you live in one too, Sneaks? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, yeah. Cece's husband is always working on his car. Also, he's a fanatic with his Subaru. He loves his Subaru. He's been working on it for like 1 billion years. Literally since like the day they got married, he's been working on this gosh darn Subaru. Yeah, I even considered it. I was like, how cool would it be to work with my sister, her husband? Anna and I, we moved back to the United States. I pick up an RV and we just travel around working together, working as a family, and saving up money, and then we just buy property and build our houses right next to each other on it. I would be more than happy to do that, to be honest with you, because my sister Cece and I, we are best friends. We are best friends. Like, we have the brother-sister relationship that I wish upon all brothers and sisters, because we just have the closest relationship. And it's funny because no matter how far away we are from one another, we can always just like meet up when we can, and it's like we've been there the whole time. Because we actually joined the Navy together, my sister and I, and we both went through all of the MEP stuff and signed our contracts and stuff. And then my sister she backed out last second. She backed out, and I went in myself, and to this day she'll tell you that is probably one of her biggest life regrets, is that she backed out last minute and left me hanging to go through the Navy by myself. Because if you go with a family member, you can actually go through boot camp together and everything, and there's likelihood that you can get stationed together, all of that. And we could have done it all together. It would have been 4 years, and it would have been over with, and we could have both went to college and whatever. But yeah, she'll tell you that that's probably one of her biggest regrets, is that she backed out. Sorry if I missed any other questions or comments or whatnot. We all live in RVs to buy art supplies. Yeah, that's funny. I'm live streaming and working at the same time. I've got you all in my pocket. That's cool. Oh, that's nice to hear, Misty. I'm glad you have a good relationship with your brother. Yeah, I wish it upon everyone. I wish it upon everyone. It's the relationship that we have is just so nice. So nice to have. Oops. Oh, hello, Elise. I didn't see you come into the live stream, but I see other people saying hello to you, so I caught you. Yeah, my sister Cece, that you guys chat with sometimes when she's not working, she was my very first patron supporter. From the very beginning, she's been supporting me on Patreon. She's never stopped. Both my sisters support me on Patreon now, and my brother as well. That's the best way to start your Patreon page, is to just get your family's support, and they help give confidence to other people, because I found that the more people that support you on Patreon, the more likely you're to get new patrons. Oh, hello, Lee. I am very good. Thank you so much for coming by the live stream. And Wicked Illusions, I see you as well. Hello. This color is a little bit more blue than I expected. I think I need to do the whole knife blue. That looks weird. Yeah, it looks better, just solid blue. My Inktober chop idea was a body meat cleaver, a bloody meat cleaver. Yeah, that's very Halloweenish. Lay. Is it pronounced lay? I apologize for mispronouncing your name. I try to do my best. This is why you should refer to your color chart. Should you remake your color chart? Did it fade? What color did I use? 2707. Oh goodness gracious. It almost looks like I left the paper blank. I think I left the paper blank. It must have faded. Look. This is the color. 2707. It must have faded. Gotta refill in my color chart here. It's been a little while. But that's really faded. It's drying. As it dries, I mean, it gets a lot lighter. Drew somebody chopping wood karate. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, the color must have faded. So I can't use that color. I wonder if 2706 is, maybe 2706 is what I meant to use. I'm curious of how faded this color looks. Look, this is the color next to it. It's like a really light lavender color. That one does not too bad after it dries, but I might have to reconsider. That would explain a few things. This is different paper as well. The paper that my color chart on is vellum paper, so it's thicker. Wait. Yeah, it's vellum paper, so it's more absorptive. Dries out the markers more. Let's see here. 9220. I'm gonna go with a light gray. I haven't used a color chart before. How would I implement this? So this is a color chart. I just took all my markers, colored in a square, wrote the number, and then I used this to quickly identify the color, match it with my picture, and then just use the color as it is. No big secret or anything with the color chart. 250. Is this the right color? Huh. These colors look really different. I should have did a test. Technically the markers are not light fast, so fading should be expected. Well, the thing that I've read about the Pantone ink is that the Pantone ink is supposed to be the most light fast of all marker inks, but all colors, you know, some colors fade more than others. But that one was shockingly faded, and this one is shockingly pinker than I expected. I'm gonna have to redo. My color chart altogether because of how different these colors are actually appearing to be. If you can't tell what vegetable I'm coloring, you should be after I finish this portion. At least I hope you can tell. You might be able to tell right now. Oh goodness, the sun keeps getting blocked and unblocked by clouds, and it's making my room darker and lighter, like drastically. Oh, and there's the sun again popping out. It was really foggy and cloudy all day today until like just now. Since you have to redo your color chart, it is a great time to get Copics and make a color chart. Yeah. I'm not gonna be able to live that down, am I? I'm gonna have to just go for the Copic markers, and I'm gonna blame you, Wendy. I'm gonna make sure that Anna knows that it was all your fault. When she asks why we can't go on date nights anymore, it's because I have to pay off my Copic marker debt. Oh, hello, Jamie. Dropping in real quick. What pens am I using? They look different to the ones in the Amazon link you shared. That is because I am using markers, not pens. The markers that I'm using you can't buy anymore because they're discontinued, but the pens that I use are these ones, and they are the ones in the link. But these here are markers. I don't know how to explain the pronunciation, but my name is Leia. Is it pronounced Leia or Leah? Because I've come across the name before with different pronunciations. So if it's like the Star Wars Princess Leia, then let me know. Or if it's Leah with like the E sound. What time is the Patreon stream going to be tomorrow? It is going to be 1400. It will be 1400 my time. I will schedule it. I totally forgot. I wanted to schedule it this morning. Okay, so like Star Wars. All right, Leia. Gotcha. Lovely name, by the way. I will schedule the Patreon stream as soon as I am done with today's stream. I sort of kind of forgot and got behind schedule a little bit. Thank you for reminding me, by the way. There we go. Does that look like a red onion? Am I making my red onion convincible? Okay, I seem to be an enabler this week with art supplies and recording equipment. I take all the blame, but only for this week. After that, it's all on you. All right, all right. Let's see, I think I need some grays, a bit more grays down here. Go, and let's see here. Let's add a little bit of a drop shadow. We need a darker. No, I think this works. little drop shadow for our onion here onto the cutting board. I thought I was going to cheat a little bit and use a bit of colored pencils, but I think I can get away with just the markers for today. Let's go a little bit darker for that drop shadow. There we go. Now the knife blade looks a little flat and out of place with the onion. You think so? Oh, I forgot the drop shadow up here. Did I grab the wrong color? I think I grabbed the wrong color, so I'm going to just do another layer for the drop shadow everywhere. There. Now I have this onion here to draw. 4, 3, 4. Let's see if I can find the right color. Goodness, that sun can't decide whether or not it's gonna stay out or not. Clouds must be moving really fast. I don't know if you guys can tell with the webcam. Probably not, since it auto changes its ISO exposure. Alright, let's see here. 266. I don't even know if I can trust this color now. with the with this out of date color chart. This might appear to be way too purple right off the bat, but no going back now. I smell onion. I cut up onion and put in my soup yesterday in my trash can. that is a really interesting bit of information, Brenda. I appreciate you letting us all know. That's funny. I can't stand the smell of the onion in the trash can. Oh, I love onions. I do. I love onions, but oh my gosh, I cannot stand them after they've been cut. I gotta like take out the trash the same day. I could have just changed the bag, but as soon as I put onions in there, I know I gotta take it out. I just can't stand it. You walk into your flat and you just like start crying because of the smell of onions. It's just too much. It's too much. Oh, sauerkraut. That sounds good. sauerkraut with some fried onions and mushrooms. That's my favorite. I gotta make my wife make us some sauerkraut soon. We had some rigatoni pasta last night, and my wife had some kluski that we made a few days ago. I didn't finish all of mine, and I said she could have them. Just wasn't in a kluski mood. Kluski are like potato. They're like potato dumplings, I guess, would be a relatively okay translation. I don't know exactly what a dumpling is supposed to be, or what it means to be a dumpling. Will, how do you fix tofu? Well, I use tofu for two things, and other than those two things, I barely ever really get tofu. The first way that I use tofu is for my pierogi filling, and it's tofu, fried onions, and potatoes, and that's the basis for my wife and I's pierogi filling, and then just like some salt and pepper. The other way that I use tofu, my wife does not eat, because she actually doesn't like tofu at all. She despises it, even though it doesn't make any sense to me, to be honest with you. Like, I think she's just being a little dramatic. Don't tell her I said that, though. I like to make tofu scramble, and what I do is I fry up the tofu with some onions and some bell pepper, like green bell pepper or red bell pepper, and then I season it with nutritional yeast, and nutritional yeast gives it kind of like a cheesy / eggy flavor. And you can also use black salt. Black salt is the sulfur salt that has it tastes exactly like eggs. It tastes identical to eggs, but it's just black salt. And trying to think of what else. I don't know. 486. What the heck is 486? I don't even know what that color is. Oh, here it is. And those are the two ways that I use tofu. I did have this recipe a long time ago, and for the life of me, I wish I could remember it. But it was for tofu sloppy joes, and I always loved sloppy joes as a kid. Oh my gosh, I loved them. And I had a tofu recipe that totally replaced it, and it totally worked, and I can't remember it off the top of my head what the recipe was, but it's out there somewhere. Good. Basically just fry up tofu with some ketchup and mustard and some other seasonings or whatnot. I can't remember what it all was. Onion, I think, and throw it on a piece of bread and sloppy joe it up. It's about the only ways that I really use tofu, because I don't really like it all that much either. Why did I become vegan? Oh, that's one of my favorite all-time questions. I became so a very quick synopsis of how I became vegan. I had a friend that was vegetarian. I asked him why. He told me to look into it. I looked into it. I became a vegetarian. While I was vegetarian, I came across a vegan diet, and then I decided to try a vegan diet. After 3 days, I knew I'd never go back. That's the very quick synopsis of my story of becoming a vegan. But the reason I became vegan is because I discovered that it was the most optimal diet for humans. Now, when I say vegan, that's an easy, like, saying vegan is a bit of a misconception, because you can be vegan and eat absolute garbage food, and it would kill you because it's extremely unhealthy. But the kind of vegan that I am, I focus on whole foods. So I'm more of a whole food vegan, where like I make everything from scratch. I make my doughs. The only thing that I don't make is my noodles. That's like the only thing. So my focus is on fresh fruits and vegetables and whole foods and things like that. Lentils, chickpeas, kidney beans, those are kind of my favorites. Brussels sprouts, of course, I love Brussels sprouts. Onions, yeah. That's what I mean when I say that I'm vegan. Not that I drink soda and Doritos and Oreos. Although every once in a while I might sneak an Oreo in. Oreos are vegan, by the way. Just so you know. They don't have any animal products. Yeah, that's kind of the quick reason why I became vegan. But the truth is, I tried it out. I tried it out for my initial plan was to try it for a week. I was like, I'll try it for a week. And by that third day, cutting out the meat and the dairy, by the third day, I knew, I didn't tell myself, I knew that I was never going to go back. I felt so much better after the third day. It usually takes about, it can usually take, depending on how bad your diet is, it can take as much as 3 days to 2 weeks to filter out all the previous junk that you were eating, and you'll feel better, like significantly better after the couple weeks or whatever, depending on how long you've been eating really poorly or how bad you've been eating, something like that. Should there be a reflection on the blade? Not from this angle. Also a drop shadow from the bottom onion. Yeah, I was not sure if I was done with this onion. I was kind of thinking, I don't know, I think I am done with the onion. So I need to grab a couple grays here. But somebody asked me about being vegan, and you guys should probably know by now that that's one of my favorite questions, because I could talk about it forever and ever and ever and ever. Because I think that it's extremely important to pay attention to what you put in your mouth, especially if you plan on swallowing it. Because once you put it in your body, it's going to be processed one way or another, and your body's going to respond to it. So I suggest making your choices wisely, because you can't replace your body, and you get out of it what you put in it. So why not put the best in it to get the best out? If you want the best, then you need to feed it the best. And there's a lot of disagreement about a vegan diet. but my experience, I understand, is anecdotal, but the facts remain. The facts remain. You don't have to go much past the scientific facts to know that the vegan diet is the most optimal human diet that there is. And by optimal, I mean a whole food plant-based diet, not just a vegan diet. Vegan just means you avoid animal products. Whole food plant-based diet means that you eat whole foods and it's plant-based. It's not Oreo, Dorito, and Mountain Dew based. Do I feel better? I think that might be an understatement. I've never felt better on my diet. Never felt better. There's a few things that I noticed immediately within the first 3 months of being vegan. 1, I had more energy. 2, I was regular, and that's all I'm gonna say. 3, I lost, just a little excess weight without doing anything. Yeah, I mean, those were like the 3 immediate things. Depending on how bad of health you're in, those things would be more drastic. I wasn't in bad shape. I was in the military when I went vegan, so I was exercising regularly, and I didn't have a bad diet before I went vegan. It was still relatively good diet. But now that I'm where I'm at now, my job as an artist, I have a very sedentary lifestyle. So sometimes, if you work in an office or something and you're spending most of your day kind of sedentary, you can find that it's hard to like maintain a healthy weight. But on a vegan diet, you have a better tendency to maintain a healthy weight. Despite my lack of exercise, which I hate to admit, I have not gained weight being an artist. I've basically spent the last 2 years sitting at my desk drawing and making videos. In basically every instance, I should be gaining weight because I'm not exercising as much as I know I should be. But I'm not, because I'm not getting the excess calories and fats and things like that you would naturally get from animal products. And when you're eating just fresh fruits and vegetables, or even cooked fruits and vegetables, you can eat as much as you want. That's not even a joke. There's so much fiber in that kind of food that you can just eat as much as you want. And gaining weight is like next to impossible, because you get full before you can eat too much of it. And that's I wonder if becoming vegan could help me get in a better mood. There has been people that have had that. If you think about it, if you feel better physically, you're most likely to feel better mentally as well. So that's I absolutely hate that people don't care, because it would be an inconvenient for travel or money or whatever. I'm like, do you know what you're eating? Yeah, I know what you mean. There is a degree of inconvenience when you have a strict diet, when you have a strict lifestyle the way that I do. Travel does sometimes get irritating. Sometimes you have to go periods of time without eating. Just not like days or anything, but like, a few extra hours or something like that. Maybe the airplane that you're on forgets that you ordered a vegan meal, and they're like, oh, sorry, we don't have anything. You want a bowl of fruit? Yeah, I've only been on the plane for 10 hours. I want a bowl of fruit. No, better yet, give me a parachute so I can jump off here and get some real food. I'm not, like, I love it when we get into these discussions. I'm done, by the way. Like, I'm done drawing. So if you guys want to hang out longer, I'm more than happy to just sit here and chat with you guys. Let me know. I certainly am. I don't forget how good meat tasted. All right, I don't forget that. There is a reason that vegans always make a comparison with their food to the food it's meant to be replacing. Like, I can make a fried mushroom that would convince anybody it's chicken. It's that good. But yeah, I don't forget how good meat tasted. But that's all it has. Meat only can taste good, but it's not good for you. There's no meat. Like, one meat from an animal is not somehow magically different from the meat of another animal. It has a different taste. That's it. It might have slighter, lower or higher like nutrient levels of certain things, but that's about it. Did I take the Porter Morehouse quiz? No. Wait. I've never taken that. I don't know what house I would be in. Yeah, it is always fun to chat. I like hanging out. I don't have anything going on anyway. The markers are drying up here a little bit, so I think I might go back over top. The knife doesn't quite look as good as I'd like it to, so I'm going to go back over top of the knife. And hopefully it will get a little bit darker, because it's a bit too bright. Yeah, I really enjoy you guys asking me questions like this, and you sticking around for my answers, and just yeah, I enjoy it. So hopefully you guys do too. I know that I know that a few of you will probably just come here for the art, and you're not really looking for my opinion on the human diet, but either way, both mean a lot to me. Both mean a lot to me. So when you get me talking about it, it's really hard for me to stop talking about it. I never get tired of talking about it. I mean, you don't spend the past decade being vegan and not learning a lot. Not learning a lot. Oh, hello, Shiny. Good to see you. You'll do vegetarian but not vegan? Well, the thing about vegetarian is that it just cuts out the meat. One of the biggest, the worst things, the two of the worst things that we eat is dairy products: eggs, cheese, and milk. Those are the worst things to eat. Milk is riddled with a ton of hormones that messes your body up and causes osteoporosis and weakens your bones, causes brittle bones, and it's like meat. It's like meat liquid filled with cholesterol. Yeah, dairy. When I usually have this conversation with somebody in person, and they start, you know, it's always the same thing. Well, I can't do it. Well, I'll do this, but I can't give up cheese. Oh my gosh, if I had $1 for every time I'd hear somebody say, I can't give up cheese, I love cheese. I I probably wouldn't even have to be an artist to pay the bills, seriously. I get it, cheese tastes good on pizza and grilled cheese. I never liked grilled cheese, but dairy is so bad for you. Like, it's not even a debate. It's so bad for you. It is the worst. You give up. I've had friends that had everything from like joint problems to like a constant a constant stuffiness in their sinuses and arthritis, all of that. And I say, don't give up meat. Don't give up meat. Just give up dairy. Quit with the cheese and the milk stuff. Quit with that nonsense. And a week after they quit it, they feel amazing. I've had a ton of people like that. And even the people that I've like converted to being vegan, because I've converted a lot of them, they don't always stay off eating meat, but they stay off the dairy stuff because they feel like crap the moment they go back on it. Dairy is just the worst, yeah. Yes, Aya's family in 1 liter of tears does make tofu. that is a very random fact, Barbara, but I do appreciate it. I hear that from Chrissy all the time. I love my cheese. Yeah, cheese is just so bad. What do you put on pizza as a vegan, or do you not eat pizza? Oh my goodness, I love pizza and I eat it as much as possible. There are vegan cheeses. There are vegan cheeses, and there's this one place called Toto Utra in the city center, and it's a Zepikanka place, which is essentially like a French bread pizza. I go there all the time. The Zepikanka is like, I don't know if you can see this. It's like this. It's huge. It's like an arm. It's like an arm length Zepikanka French bread pizza. And they have vegan cheese. And I get it has mushrooms and bell peppers and onions and vegan cheese. And it is fantastic. I love it. I love it. But when I make pizzas, I don't put cheese on them. I don't buy vegan cheese because I think it's a waste of money. When I make a pizza, I like roasted onions, roasted bell peppers, mushrooms are really good, jalapenos. Oh, I love jalapenos. I love jalapenos. I made my wife eat a jalapeno the other day. I just took it. I was like, here. And made her eat it. I didn't like force her to eat it. She ate it willingly, but I think it's the first time she ever has eaten a jalapeno. It was kind of funny. I just had to put that random bit in there, but spinach. Spinach is the best. I love spinach on pizza. If you've never had spinach on pizza, you're missing out. You are missing out so much. Spinach is the best on pizza. It's like when I make a pizza, I'll just put all the veggies and stuff, and then I will just slam a handful of spinach. I love it. Spinach is so good on pizza. Seriously, you put good veggies on pizza, you won't miss the cheese. You'll wonder why you ever covered up the good taste of veggies on pizza. I googled what I could do to get out of my depressive mood, and a website said that eggs and dairy products are good because it has something in it that increases serotonin. Yeah, I would not go based off that website. I'm sorry, I would not. There's a lot of just eating, Leia, increases serotonin because our bodies seek to eat anything that anything that we do that goes back to like our like primitive, or like our lizard brain, you know, breathing, sleeping, eating, trying to other you know, human activities increase serotonin because our bodies need those things, and our bodies reward us for the things that we need, that we do, that we need. Our bodies reward us for sleeping with serotonin, and that's why we have a desire to do them. So if you do things that increase your serotonin, for instance, if you take meth, then your body's going to be like, oh, whatever you did, do it again. And that's why people keep doing meth. Hate to make that comparison, but that website is garbage. If you want to try, there's a natural way. I would just say look up St. John's wort. I'm not gonna say anything past that, but St. John's wort. It's a not a vitamin. It's an herb. I think it's an herb. But eggs and dairy, not a good idea. Even if it puts you in a better mood, it's gonna destroy the inside of your body. Oh, how do I start vegan? I have kids whom eat meat. How can I convince them I truly understand the purpose because of hormone? Steps. You know, just take steps. Start when people. I didn't mean for this live stream to turn into this here, but I like it anyway, so I'm gonna keep doing it. How do you spell that? Saint John, you know, like the, what is that thing called? The Pope or whatever? Saint, the saint. There. A lot of the times when I start discussing things vegan with people, they often think of all of the stuff. Yeah, with an O. Sorry. Yeah. Not like the weird thing that you get a growth. They always start with the negative side of it, which is I need to remove chicken, I need to remove beef, I can't have hamburgers, I can't have cheese. And I always say that that's the worst way of thinking about transitioning to a more vegan, plant-based diet, because what you want to be thinking about is what you can add. What should I start adding? So instead of that, gosh, it's been so long I don't even know what people eat anymore. So how about you mashed potatoes and gravy? Instead of mashed potatoes in a beef-based gravy, make mashed potatoes and use your Brussels sprout water, because you better be eating some Brussels sprouts. Use your Brussels sprout water. Transition, get rid of your butter. If you're addicted to butter, change it for a vegan butter, a vegan margarine. Try your best not to eat butter. It's not good for you, no matter if it's vegan or not. But just think about the things you can add. That's what I always advise people to do. Don't think of vegan as being like, oh, I gotta quit doing all the fun stuff. I'm vegan now, so I can't eat anything good. That's totally not true. I always try to think on the positive side, and instead of thinking all the things, oh, I'm taking away this from me and I'm taking this away from me, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. Instead, I just think about all the really good stuff I can eat. And I just eat more of that. I just eat more of the good stuff. I mean, food, another thing that happens when you change your diet drastically is your taste buds change. When it took me 3 months. It took me 3 months for my taste buds to completely change. And I started, what was it that I started to like? There was one thing. I always liked spinach. It wasn't spinach. I did have a friend. I had a friend that went vegan, and after like a couple months of him being vegan, he could not stop eating spinach. He hated spinach his entire life. He hated spinach his entire life. And he would just crack open a bag. He would just crack open a bag of fresh baby spinach and eat them like chips. He would just sit there and eat them like chips because he went from completely hating spinach to completely loving spinach. And yeah, so your taste buds will adapt, and you'll start liking healthier foods. I'm still struggling to figure out what it is that I used to not like. Well, I can tell you one thing. I never liked anything. I never liked beets. I never liked beets, but I could just eat a beet like an apple. I love them. Trying to think of what else that I really started to like. I always ate veggies growing up, so I didn't have much room for improvement in that front. I always liked veggies. So if you guys have any other questions, I am going to sign off here. I need to clean up the kitchen a little bit before my wife gets home. She deserves that from me. I'm going to put my markers away and clean up my workstation here, and I have to schedule the Patreon live stream, so I'm going to do that as well. But thank you guys so much for coming by and hanging out. I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. Okay, I think I'm better. Yeah, I'm gonna try to make it the rest without sneezing. Remember that for the 26th, we're all going to do yoga poses for the prompt stretch. Don't forget your yoga pose. The drawing, not the actual yoga pose. And what else? Oh, the coloring competition. I have the link for the coloring competition if you're interested in the video description. I'll see you all tomorrow. It's going to be a different time tomorrow. I think I have it scheduled correctly. Tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah. I should have it scheduled properly, but I don't want to forget anything. You guys got me so far off topic that I'm totally lost. I can't even think about art right now. I could sit here for like another 4 hours talking to you guys. I love doing it. I love hanging out. Sure, Misty, quickly ask your question. And I'll try to think of anything else that I might forget before signing off. Oh, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up also. That's lets me know how many of you pay attention. Oh, don't forget to submit your Inktober pieces for today's prompt over in the Facebook group so that I can share those on tomorrow's live stream. Budget markers to get started. If you're on a strict budget and you want good markers, get the gray set. Whether it's the warm gray or the cool gray or the neutral gray, get that like set of 10. It's like 10 or 12, I think, of the Copic markers. Start with the gray tones. because they work just like the colors, except you have the whole value range. You can create anything with them in that monochromatic set, unlike some random set of colors. And you'll get the feel of the markers. You'll be able to determine whether or not you like working with markers. You can always use those gray tones to do like an underpainting of your colored pencil work. I did a lot of work with just the gray tones and laying colored pencils over top. You can experiment with that. I think that that set of 10 runs around like $40 or something like that, but that is the suggestion I can currently make with markers. I've tested like the off-brands before of markers, and I never ever had a good experience. And so what I ended up doing is spending money on a product that I never used, so I just threw money away. Whereas I could have spent that same amount of money to start collecting smaller groups of markers that I know that are really good. So that's what I suggest for markers. And that is going to be the rest of the live stream. Thank you again so much, everyone. I love hanging out with you. I love the questions. And don't forget to go vegan. I'll see you next time. Take care. Peace.